Welcome, dear students. Today we will again continue with the same text that we are studying, the play, the one-act play, drama, the proposal. So meanwhile, other students are joining. Let's watch, the third part of the animation that we have been watching.
Honored Natalia Stepanovna.
Well, I never knew that before. How do you make that out?
How? I'm speaking of those oxen meadows, which are wedged in between your birch woods and the burnt marsh.
Yes. They're ours.
No, you're mistaken, Honored Natalia Stepanovna. They're mine.
Just think, Ivan Vasilevich. How long have they been yours?
How long? As long as I can remember.
Really, you won't get me to believe that.
But you can see from mints, Honored Natalia Stepanovna. Oxen meadows, it's true, were once the subject of dispute, but now everybody knows that they are mine. There's nothing to argue about. You see, my aunt's grandmother gave the free use of these perpetuity to the peasants of your father's grandfather, in return for which they were to make bricks for her. The peasants belonging to your father's grandfather had the free use of the meadows for 40 years, and had got into the habit of regarding them as their own, when it happened that...
No, it isn't at all like that. Both grandfather and great-grandfather reckoned that their land extended to burnt marsh, which means that oxen meadows were ours. I don't see what there is to argue about. It's simply silly.
I'll show you the documents, Natalia Stepanovna.
You're simply joking, or making fun of me. What a surprise. We've had the land for nearly 300 years, and then we are suddenly told that it isn't ours. Ivan Vasilevich, I can hardly believe my own ears. These meadows are on account to 5 dessiatins, and are worth perhaps 300 rubles, but I can't stand unfairness. Say what you will, I can't stand unfairness.
Hear me out, I implore you. The peasants of your father's grandfather, as I have already had the honor of explaining to you, used to bake bricks for my aunt's grandmother. Now my aunt's grandmother, wishing to make them a pleasant...
I can't make head or tail of all this about aunts and grandfathers and grandmothers. The meadows are ours, that's all.
Mine.
Ours. You can go on proving it for 2 days on end, you can go and put on 15 dress jackets, but I tell you they're ours. I don't want anything of yours and I don't want to give anything of mine. So there.
Natalia Stepanovna, I don't want the meadows, but I am acting on principle. If you like, I'll make you a present of them.
Please like the video, this gives us motivation.
Very warm welcome, all my dear students. We are done with, how Lomo entered, how, Chubuko got excited hearing that he had been there, to ask his daughter's hand in marriage. And then he just living. And there he is, Lomo, all alone, thinking himself that why he should marry and why only to marry with Natalia. Yesterday we were done with, the last 4 lines that Shreya had asked for, that he explained that the worst problem he is facing is about sleeping. Okay. So as you can see here, dear students, on your screen, there are different positions that the men or women, they lie on bed. Sometimes we fell asleep, go to bed, we sleep, on bed properly, but when we go get slept ourselves, we find our position changed. So here you can see different positions: back position, side position, fetal position, stomach position, and more you can see. So which is the one do you think here Lomo has described about himself? Can anyone say? Yes, dear students. Am I audible, everyone?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Then what do you think it is about as far as Lomo is concerned? Can you read the lines, the 4 lines here? Over to you. Isn't the text with you, dear students? You want me to share with you? The NCERT website is not working. Anyway, on third-party website I'm showing you. Here it is. Official NCERT website is not working today. Don't know the reason. I'm showing with you the third party here website that we can get some part of it. No, and here he has mentioned about his worst, problem. Can you read, dear Shreya?
Excuse me, sir. Sir, I am coming to school for that signing of CBSE registration.
Oh,
So I
great. All
don't
right.
have to speak.
No, it is there now on screen. Can you see?
Yes, sir.
Highlighted with blue color.
Yes, sir. But the very worst of all is the way I sleep. I no sooner get into bed and begin to go off when suddenly something in my left side gives a pull and I can feel it on my shoulder and head. I jump like a lunatic, walk about a bit and lie down again. But as soon as I begin to get off to sleep, there is another pull, and this may this may happen 20 times.
Very good. So you got the body posture of him while he's sleeping. Is he sleeping on back to left arm, right arm, straight? What is the position? And God, finally it is working. And I got the text, the proposal. Scrolling down. Anybody wants to say? Anil, what has been described, the way he is sleeping?
Sir, miss, I didn't got that.
See. But the very worst of all is the way I sleep. I no sooner get into bed, no sooner, means as soon as, begin to go up, and he cannot sleep longer and he has to get out of bed again. Why? When suddenly something in my left side gives a pull, and he's sleeping like this, to the left hand side, and there is something, a pain in his stomach. And there again he says, even his shoulders start, as if there is something going wrong with him, and also head. And then he has to, just jump out of the bed as if he has gone mad, a lunatic. And that way he says that he cannot sleep at all. Then what happens? He has to walk about a bit and lie down again. He just has a round here and there, and again tries to go to bed. But again, as soon as, no sooner than, or hardly he had begun, he began to get off to sleep, there is another pull. And it happens something, in his stomach, that somebody is pulling. There is a stomach ache. Even his shoulders gets pain and also head, and he has to get out of it. And it happens just not once, but it may happen 20 times. And finally, he is unable to go to bed. So these are the problems he is facing. Again, I am sharing with you different ways that the people sleep, and people say, or science also proves, that we can understand the person or his mood the way he or she sleeps. It tells us about, if they are happy, if they are sad, if they are disappointed. It varies, and we can understand the feelings of the person from the way they are sleeping, right? Okay, then Natalia Stepanova comes in. At the time, he's just thinking that he is making his mind. No, I should marry her. I am already been 35 years old. There won't be anybody else that I can marry with. But she is the only one, and she is not so bad looking. She is good. She is an excellent housekeeper and well educated. That way, he is making his mind. And there, Natalia enters. Well, there, it's you. And Papa said, go, there is a merchant. Come for his goods. How do you do, Ivan Vasilevich? So, dear students, here Natalia mentioned that his father had told her to go out and there is somebody waiting, and that somebody is none but merchant. And he also told her that the merchant is waiting outside for his goods. So, who do you think is a merchant, and who do you think is his goods, according to the way her father spoke? Subuko.
Lomov is the merchant and Natalia is the good.
Yes, very good. But Natalia took its literal meaning, that really there is someone, a merchant, has come out and he wanted his goods, means something at their homes, because they are the farmers. You will come to know from their discussion. Okay? And hey, you are there. Father told me something that the merchant has come and he wanted his goods. But was he right, dear students? What he wanted to convey through his sentence? Her father, what do you say? What is your opinion? If we say that Lomo is merchant and his goods is Natalia, then was he right? Her father?
Is that Lomo wanted Natalia.
Yes, he wanted to marry her and he was going to take her with him. And that way we have compared, we in the sense here the father of Natalia saying that the merchant had been there to take his goods. Okay. Then Lomo says, how do you do, honored Natalia Stepanova? And he gets up, he's showing much respect for her because you know the reason. He wanted her consent for marriage. Then Natalia says, Natalia is not at all aware about it. She has casually come out and she found that yes, there is Lomo and he had been there after a long time and he's speaking so friendly. There is nothing in her mind to think about, right? And as usual, she's just having a conversation with him. Let's see then what happens. You must excuse my apron and negligee. Negligee means the clothes that she had put on, that is an apron, and negligee, that is just like a transparent made up of net kind of cloth. Especially girls, they wear, that negligee. It is a little rare kind of cloth put on by the girls in our area, but especially in Western countries, they wear it. We are shelling peas for drying. Why haven't you been here for such a long time? Sit down. They sit themselves. Won't you have some lunch? And finally, as he had got up, showing his respect, honored Natalia Stepanovna. How do you do? That way, he offered greeting and is more concerned about her. Then she told that, you just excuse me because she was not supposed to be there before him in those kinds of clothes. She had just been working and had come out just to see the merchant because her father had told her that there is a merchant outside and he wanted his goods. But she could not understand what her father meant to say. Then they both of them sat down and she is again asking if he had food and he also asked why he had not been there so long. Then Lomo says, no, thank you. I have had some already. So what is he saying thank you for? He is thanking her for, she asked and offered some lunch, but he said no, he has already had before. Then Natalia says, then smoke, here are the matches. And then she is offering, smoking, like that cigarette and all those people, especially Western countries. What do you think, your students, those people, from foreign countries, they smoke more than the people and they don't find it just as an addiction. Even they drink wine, we have seen in many of the lessons. If you remember from class 8, the very first lesson, the best Christmas present in the world. There also it is mentioned. Then in class 9, if you remember, there was a lesson about a dog. Do you remember?
Yes, sir.
I think
Yes, sir.
it is in class 10 only, I think, the second one, if I'm not wrong. What is it about? In the supplementary reader?
Triumph of surgery.
The tribe of surgery only. No?
Triumph of surgery, very good. There also wines and so many such things have been mentioned. So why are these things very common in foreign countries?
Sir, because they are habitual to that things.
No, I just told you that it is not an addiction for them. They are the part of their life. In India, we know that having tea is just like an addiction. I have told you before in the text, tea from Assam. But we don't consider it as if something wrong a person is doing having a cup of tea. We just offer even our relatives. Similarly, there in foreign countries, they just offer, smoking or some wine and like that. What is it? It has been the part of their culture. What do you think it is? Geographically, do you find differences between India and Western countries?
So because there is
Sir, in the
cold,
Western countries, it is a very cold climate,
cold, so to keep
Absolutely,
them
so they
warm,
need to
very
have.
good.
so they.
Absolutely, very good. So just to keep them warm, they need, to have such kinds of drinks, and they do have for that. Very good. I think in Marathi there is a movie by Makaranda Naspure giving all these accounts. It's a kind of drama only, but so good if possible. I don't remember the name. He had been there to foreign countries to bring his father back. Like that is a something story. I don't remember, long back, many years have passed. I had watched that. So should we then smoke in India? Does our atmosphere is giving us that permission that we should have it?
No, sir.
No.
It's so
No, sir.
harmful for our body because as far as our climate, the atmosphere is concerned, is warm enough, and we need not to give more warmness, providing such kinds of smoking. So we should not, even if it has been, creating a lot of problems for the people that they suffer from, cancer. Even they face many problems about the blockages in their body. But still, it has been a part of their life, chewing tobacco and all. They just go on with it. Even the government does not ban it. Why? They say revenue. They are getting much revenue than any other part of trades or the business, and that is the reason they are unable to ban. But they are trying to create awareness among the people. On the packet itself, it is written, chewing tobacco is injurious and you may suffer from cancer. Keep it away from yourself. But still, the people go mostly, and just outside on the roadways, anywhere, we find people chewing tobaccos and spitting out, also smoking the cigarettes and all. And in the movies also, it has been very common. But nowadays, we are getting a remark on the screen, the same one, chewing tobacco or drinking or smoking, they are always harmful and injurious to our health. So we should always keep them all away from ourselves. Otherwise, once we get it once, it happens that only the way that it becomes our addiction. Firstly, we just for the first time, what happened? Friends are there, and we just do it. Secondly, then we do it just for fun. Thirdly, we do like that only. But later, it happens that without that, we cannot live. We want it. Like I had told you that if it is 11:30 and if I'm habitual of having tea at 11:30, it happens that I stop working and ask for tea. Similarly, if you are habitual of chewing tobaccos or smoking cigarettes and those habits, you won't be self-reliant. You have to be depending on that. Mm, Ekach Pyala is a drama in Marathi, a play. Ekach Pyala. If possible, you please read it. Well, very well, it has been described how the life gets completely spoiled of drunken. Okay. So then smoke. Here are the matches. And he's offering cigarettes so that he can just fire it out with the matches box, and start with the smoking. The weather is splendid now, but yesterday it was so wet that the workmen did not do anything all day. How much have you stacked? Just think, I felt greedy and had a whole field cut, and now I'm not at all pleased about it because I'm afraid my hay may rot. I ought to have waited a bit. But what's this? Why you are in evening dress? Well, I never. Are you going to a ball or what? Though I must say you look better. Tell me, why are you got up like that? And she's just telling about what she was doing. She says the weather is splendid now, it's good one, but yesterday it was so wet, it might have rained that day. But she regrets for one of her act that she felt very greedy and she got her whole field cut. And so she is saying that she is afraid that the hay, means kind of grass, may get rotten. And she is feeling herself that she was wrong with her decision. She should have rather waited to do so and should not have got her complete crop or the hay cut from her field. But she again changed the topic and is coming to the scenario that there is someone, none but Lomo, sitting and she is just telling about herself. But she got attracted by the way he had dressed himself, and she also mentions that he was really looking better than usual. But she also showed some interest to know what was the special that time that he had put on such a kind of good clothes, the evening dress. And she also mentions that if he was going to a ball, ball are kind of parties that the Western people celebrate, observe. Then Lomo, excited. You see, honored Natalia Stepanova, the fact is, I have made up my mind to ask you to hear me out. Of course, you will be surprised and perhaps even angry. But aside, it's awfully cold. And he's just trying to make up his mind. What is he doing? He's trying to manage. The nervousness is easily noticed from his appearance, the way he is sitting there, rubbing his hands, going like this, very excited to share and ask her hand for marriage. But somehow he again goes to some other part of the topic that he started speaking about, the cold. It's so cold, awfully. He does not dare to directly speak to her about the proposal, right? And then he says, Natalia added, what's the matter? And when he showed, out of excitement that he wanted to ask her something and he wanted her opinion and her consent, she also shows interest. What's the matter? Like he was telling her father, spit it out, be quick, say what is it, don't worry. That way Natalia also is offering, taking a pause. Well, when she wanted that he should tell her what was the matter about. Then Lomo says, I shall try to be brief. You must know, honored Natalia Stepanova, that I have long since my childhood, in fact, had the privilege of knowing your family. My late aunt and her husband, from whom, as you know, I inherited my land, always had the greatest respect for your father and your late mother. The Lomos and the Chupukos have always had the most friendly, and I might almost say the most affectionate regard for each other. And as you know, my land is a near neighbor of yours. You will remember that my Oxen meadows touch your birth woods. And that way, he's just about to say that I have been here to ask your hand for marriage. But he's little out of nervousness, could not share. He is little afraid to come to the point directly and ask her. And he started telling about himself only, that that we have been here together since our childhood, and our parents and grandparents, they have all been very respectful to one another, and so happily, peacefully we are living together. And that way he's just trying to come to the point. And he added then about Oxen Meadows, that our land is so close to yours, and her name of the land is Birchwoods. And there she, Natalia, finds something different, something odd that she did not like. And she interrupted him and said, excuse my interrupting you. You say my Oxen Meadows, but are they yours? And she got something, and started fighting, quarreling. Lomo, yes, mine. Natalia, what are you talking about? Oxen Meadows are ours, not yours. Lomo, no, mine. Honored Natalia Stepanova, she is there, being very modest and trying to be very polite with her, because there is something in his mind he had gone there for. But it happened by mistakenly that he mentioned those oxen meadows, and she got a point to quarrel with him, and that way she is saying they are mine, he is saying they are mine, and that way they just go on quarreling. No, mine, honored Natalia Stepanovna. Natalia. Well, I never knew that before. How do you make that out? Lomo. How? I'm speaking of those oxen meadows which are wedged in between your birchwoods and the burnt marsh. Natalia. Yes, yes, they are ours. Lomo. No, you are mistaken. No, he cannot shout at her because he is in great need and he wanted her quiet. So he's just trying to be very polite with her. No, you are mistaken, honored Natalia Stepanovna. They are mine. Natalia. Just think, Ivan Vasilievich, how long have they been yours? Lomo. How long? As long as I remember. Really? You won't get me to believe that? But you can see from the documents, honored Natalia Stepanova, oxen meadows, it's true, were once the subject of dispute. I agree. But now everybody knows that they are mine. The way he is speaking, you can understand. There is nothing to argue about. You see, my aunt's grandmother gave the free use of these meadows in perpetuity to the peasants of your father's father, in return for which they were to make bricks for her. The peasants belonging to your father's grandfather had the free use of the meadows for 40 years and had got into the habit of regarding them as their own. When it happened that? No, it is not at all like that. Both grandfather and great-grandfather reckoned that their land extended to burnt marsh, which means that oxen meadows were ours. I don't see what there is to argue about. It's simply silly. And this way they are just quarreling. Lomo is trying to be very polite, honest, and modest while he is speaking. And he is trying to remind her, yes, you are right. I know that oxen meadows were yours, but it was your misunderstanding. And there was a dispute because my grandparents, those ancestors, that time, grandmother, aunt's grandmother, she had given, those meadows free of cost just to harvest the crop and live there happily. So in return, your grandparents were giving her back some bricks, and that way they went on working in the farms. It happened for 40 years, but they misunderstood that they were belongs to them. But no, it is not the fact. They were belongs to my grandparents, and there are the documents. I can show you. He is saying, but she is not in the mood to believe in him, and she does not like that he is saying something that she did not like. And so said, it's simply silly. I can't believe in this. They are ours, and there is nothing to argue about. I know that they are ours. She is very much being little dominant while speaking to him, but he is very humble and modest. Lomo says, dear students, are you getting, or do you want more explanation? I think there is nothing to explain now. This is just
No, sir, we are getting it.
right?
We are getting, sir.
Yes. Otherwise, if I get a point, then I'll just go on spending much time about a line only. Better we do not do that. We need to finish it. Lomo, I'll show the documents, Natalia Stepanovna, being very simple, casual. I'll show you the documents, Natalia Stepanovna. Natalia, no, you are simply joking or making fun of me. What a surprise. We have had the land for nearly 300 years, and then we are suddenly told that it is not ours. Ivan Vasilievich, I can hardly believe my own ears. These meadows are not worth much to me. They only come to 5 desiatins and are worth perhaps 300 rubles. But I can't stand unfairness. Say what you will, I can't stand unfairness. And you can just imagine, dear students, that your home, yourself, you are living there with your family members, with your parents. Your neighbor comes and says that this home is not theirs, but it belongs to them. And it was just given for them to live there, to stay there. In return, your grandparents were giving them something in return as a rent. But you misunderstood because you were not told by your parents also, nor your grandparents, that the house is not belongs to you, but you were living there on rent. But it is not in your knowledge. You just know that this is our house. Won't you fight like Natalia is fighting and quarreling with Lomo? Do you agree, dear students? Isn't she right?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. And she is feeling herself that it is injustice with her that Lomo says those oxen meadows were belongs to them. But she were told that they were theirs. They were belongs to themselves in their family. some words, dear students, I want to bring your notice. These rubles. What do you think? Rubles. I think at one more place, the beggar, if you remember one text.
So
Beggar is
rubles
for,
is
Currency. It is
rupees.
a currency.
beggar is for class 9, I think, not for you, right?
Yes, it was in ninth.
It is
Rubles.
a currency.
Yes,
That's
it
a
is a
currency
currency
like
rupees
rupees.
in India. That way, I'll not again go to different countries asking their currency. But rubles is about Russia, and we know that the author himself is from Russia, and the names of the characters, they are also Russian names. Okay, Lomo, hear me out. I implore you, the peasants of your father's grandfather, as I have already had the honor of explaining to you, used to bake bricks for my aunt's grandfather. Now, emphasizing and being also little dominant, as she is, because she is saying, say what you will, I can't stand unfairness, and she is, being overexcited, very much angry, feeling herself being, unjustified. So she is very dominant. Now, Lomo is also trying to be little louder, and is being dominant and is just forgetting what he had gone there for. So hear me out, I implore you. The peasants of your father's grandfather, as I have already had the honor of explaining to you, used to bake bricks for my aunt's grandmother. Now my aunt's grandmother, wishing to make them a pleasing, Natala then spoke in between. I can't make head or tail of all this about aunts and grandfathers and grandmothers. The meadows are ours, and that's all. She does not want to hear any story. Like, if you remember in the last lesson in class 9, the play only, that intruder and Mr. Gerard. Gerard was again making one or the other stories and was boring him. But he used to again show him that, hey, I don't want to listen anymore. You just answer the questions that I'm asking. That's it. Similarly, here you will find Nathalie becoming very dominant and angry, saying, I don't want to listen to you at all. That's all. That the meadows are ours. Then Lomo says, mine, Nathalie, ours. You can go on proving it for 2 days on end. You can go and put on 15 dress jackets, but I'll tell they are ours, ours, and ours. I don't want anything of yours, and I don't want to give anything of mine. So there. And that way, she has finally come to the conclusion that those oxen meadows are only belongs to ourselves. They are ours, ours, and ours. She has told again and again, repeatedly, emphasizing that Lomo should believe in her that they are belongs to themselves only, not of Lomo. Then what happened to Lomo? She's just trying to dominate him much because she knows that they were belongs to her. She had no idea what had happened 3 generations before. We'll also not spend much time about that. What happened in your grandparents' time? You are bothered about it? Not at all. What is there in this generation going on, and what is the truth? That only we know. And so she is very much sure that oxen meadows were belongs to her family and they were theirs. Lomo. Natalia Stepanovna. Now he has forgotten. He is not using the word honorable or honor. No. Natalia Stepanovna, I don't want the meadows, but I'm acting on principle. She had also mentioned that this is injustice with me. I'm not bothered about the oxen meadows, but they are ours. Similarly, here Lomo mentioned that I also don't want the meadows, but in fact, it is about the principle. If you like, I'll make you a present of them and I'll show you, I'll prove it that they are ours, Natalia. I can make you a present of them myself because they are mine. Your behavior, Ivan Vasilievich, is strange to say the least. And I'm right. I don't want anything from your side as a proof. I know that they are ours and that's all. You are behaving yourself very strange, Lomo. Up to this, we have just always thought of you as a good neighbor, a friend. Now, it has been little to the next level that we have always been thinking about you, a good neighbor, a friend. But last year we went you our threshing machine, although on that account we had to put off our own threshing till November, but you behave to us as if we are gypsies, giving my own land. Indeed, no, really, that's not at all neighborly. In my opinion, it's even imprudent. If you want to know, and out of being overwhelmed by the anger, Natalia is now recalling him and trying to remind him about what favor she had always been doing with him. She had here given one account that the threshing, threshing machine was given to him a year before, and because of giving her the threshing machine, they had to wait for one more extra month. In the month of November, they could finally get it back, and then they did their threshing. And that way, they are fighting. It's not neighborly. In English, I don't remember the words, but that way I'm sure you must be understanding. I don't want to use the local words that we have in our languages. Are you getting your students understanding?
Yes, sir.
Good. Lomo, when you make out that I'm a land grabber, he is getting angry now. You mean I'm land grabber? I'm telling lie? You are saying I'm not neighborly? How dare you, madam? Never in my life have I grabbed anybody else's land, and I shan't allow anybody to accuse me of having done so. He is also out of control now, completely losing out of his sense of, tempers, and is getting angry. You are telling me I'm a liar? I'm not neighborly? I have grabbed the land of others? No, neither I can grab anybody's land, nor anybody in my presence can grab anybody's land. And you are accusing me of having done so? Then quickly steps to the carafe and drinks more water. And again, being so nervous, just again drinks water, completely forgotten what he had gone there for. Oxen meadows are mine! And after drinking water, shouting again that they are mine. Natala says, it's not true, they are ours. Lomo, mine! Both of them are equally arrogant with one another and so much angry. It's not true. I'll prove it. I'll send my mowers out to the meadows this very day. Lomo, what? Natali, my mowers will be there this very day. I told you. I'm telling you. Lomo, I'll give it to them in the neck. Natali, you dare? And that way, so badly they are fighting. Lomo clutches at his heart. Oxen meadows are mine. You understand? Mine. And we already know that he is facing palpitation. That is a disease, not disease, or some symptoms showing that there is a pain in his heart. And that way he's saying, oxen meadows are mine. You understand? Mine. Even if he is unable to say, but he is saying loudly, and is trying to prove that he is telling the truth. Natala says, please don't shout. You can shout yourself, house in your own house, but there I must ask you to restrain yourself. And she is reminding him, you don't shout here, it's my house. You go at your place and shout as much as you want. I must ask you to restrain yourself. Mind your language. Mind your tongue. Behave yourself. That way, the fight is going on. They are quarreling so badly. Natala says, please don't shout. It's done. Lomo says, if it wasn't, madam, for this awful, excruciating palpitation, if my whole inside wasn't upset, I would talk to you in a different way. And he's saying that, he's saying, you are a girl, so I'm controlling myself. Otherwise, see, what could I do? That way only he's saying, I'm suffering from palpitation. Otherwise, I could tell you what I am and how those oxen meadows are mine. And again he shouts at her, yelling loudly, oxen meadows are mine. Natala, ours. Lomo, mine. Natala, ours. Lomo, mine. And that way they are just fighting, ours, mine, and finally Chibuko enters there. He had left them both there so that they could, interact peacefully. They could try to understand one another way, and finally they should agree and get married. That was the reason. Chibuko had left them both there. But what they had done, they were fighting. Is Chibuko able to control their tempers, and is he successful getting her daughter married with Lomo? That's very interesting. Do you want to know, dear students, what happened next?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now only?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then we'll continue for more minutes. Let's see. What does he do? Hey, I'm just reading, not explaining at all. But are you understanding?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir,
sir.
we
We
are
are understanding from your expression.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Chibuko, what's the matter? What are you shouting for? Papa, please tell this gentleman who owns Oxen Meadows, we or he. Chibuko, to Lomo, darling, the meadows are ours. Lomo, but please, Stepanovich, how can they be yours? Again being polite and modest, do be a reasonable man. My aunt's grandmother gave the meadows for the temporary and free use of your grandfather's peasants. The peasants used the land for 40 years and got accustomed to it as if it was their own. When it happened that Chibuko. Excuse me, my precious. You forget just this, that the peasants did not pay your grandmother and all that because the meadows were in dispute and so on. And now everybody knows that they are ours. It means that you have not seen the plan. And he's just again trying to remind Lomo that yes, you are right partially, but after that what happened you don't know. That grandmother and because the meadows were in dispute, finally they were handed over to our family members, our grandparents, and that is the plan. I think you have not seen. Lomo says, I'll prove to you that they are mine. Again he is getting little more angry with Chibuko also, and Chibuko is also losing his temper. What does he say? Let's see. You won't prove it, my darling. Lomo. He knows that he should be little polite, but he is also losing his temper and also adding some fuel in the quarreling, in the bonfire. Lomo. I shall. Chibuko. Dear one, why yell like that? He's saying, no, I shall prove it. And he is trying to control him. Dear one, why yell like that? You won't prove anything just by yelling. Don't shout at all. I don't want anything of yours and don't intend to give up what I have. And he is telling now, okay, don't yell, don't shout at all. There is no use of it. You will not be able to prove. And I'm telling you the fact. I don't want anybody's anything, nor of yours, nor I will bear that somebody is just grabbing my own. That also I won't do. Neither I do any injustice with others, nor I can bear any injustice with you. And that way, they are talking to each other. Why should I? And my beloved, that if you propose to go on arguing about it, I would much sooner give up the meadows to the peasant than to you. There? And he finally says, if you are just arguing with me and if you want those meadows back at any cost and you are trying to prove yourself, listen, my child, my dear, I'm not going to give those meadows to you. I will give them to the peasants, those who are working there and giving them the crop. I'll give them, but not to you. There. And he's just trying to threaten and control Lomo. Then Lomo is losing himself now. Listen, I don't understand. How have you the right to give away somebody else's property? And that belongs to me. The oxen meadows are mine. And you are saying that you will give those oxen meadows to others? How can you do like that? That you are handing over somebody's property to somebody else? Chibuko, you may take it that I know whether I have the right or not. Because, young man, I'm not used to being spoken to in that tone of voice and so on. I, young man, am twice your age and ask you to speak to me without agitating yourself and all that. And now he is also getting more angry and is trying to monitor Lomo, saying that you are just young. You are half of my age and you are arguing with me. You are speaking with me in that tone that you are speaking to my daughter. I could bear that you are speaking to her that way, but I can't bear the way you are behaving with me. I can't bear it. And so I'm telling you, I don't know how you are going to do. I don't know what is good and what is bad. But here I only know that you are not behaving properly. And so I'm saying you, I'll give those oxen meadows.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes?
Excuse me, sir. We
Sir,
have got math link.
Rameshwar sir, I sent the math lecture link.
Okay, you please join his session. We'll continue. Thank you so much, dear students. Bye. Take care.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Bye, sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Okay, I'll also drink water in